Peter's speech is, you can't tell a book by its cover. It's an out-of-manual speech, 6 to 8 minutes. It's a true story. His objectives are to tell a story that holds the audience's attention and is entertaining while also teaching a life lesson. He wants to be engaging to the audience and avoid distracting mannerisms. He wants to be clear about who is speaking during the dialogue portion of his speech by using different voices. And that's it.
Thank you, Chris.
Excuse me?
Yes.
You can't judge a book by its cover.
Judge. You can't judge a book by its cover is the title of the speech. Thank you.
And Peter wrote to me, the Earth-Sea trilogy by Ursula Le Guin has meant a lot to me. I loved the fantastic but somehow familiar world that she creates, the wonderful character development, and the basically Taoist philosophy that gently infuses the trilogy. Peter.
One August, Leslie and I spent a 2-week vacation in Lincolnville, Maine. We picked a bed and breakfast that turned out to be the childhood home of Ruth Sawyer, author of The Way of the Storyteller. And we were given Ruth's former room. With these omens, I felt the story was sure to come to me. One day, we drove a few miles up the Atlantic Highway and came to Windsor Chairmakers. They make furniture in a barn, and it turned the farmhouse into a showroom. Since the cheapest chair went for almost $800, Leslie and I simply wandered around and admired the handmade craftsmanship. The showroom was nearly empty of people. We kept running into the other 2 people, a worker in the store who was talking to a potential customer. The customer had a striking appearance. She was late 30s, thin with an almost military posture and a platinum blonde pixie haircut. She wore knee-high boots with 3-inch stiletto heels, skinny jeans, and a burgundy leather asymmetrical moto jacket. She towered over us. From the way she and the worker were talking, it seemed like she was very knowledgeable about furniture and was asking hard questions that the worker had to think about. She was not a woman I would want to cross or even stare at for too long. When we left, the man and woman were still discussing furniture. Safely in our car, we talked about the encounter. Did you notice that woman? How could I miss her? I bet she's from New York. Obviously, Manhattan. What do you think she does for a living? Fashion designer. I felt something different. 3 guesses. She runs an expensive art gallery. She's a high-end interior decorator. Or she's a dominatrix. Leslie laughed, just like you guys. We drove north along the Atlantic Highway to the next high-end craft shop, Swan's Island Company. They spin yarn from the wool of local sheep and dye the yarn with natural dyes such as cochineal, indigo, and madder root. Then they weave the yarn on hand looms to make beautiful keepsake blankets. We stayed in the sales area. The loom area was off limits, but we could watch the weaving taking place on the far side of a large window. A college-age woman greeted us. After a bit of small talk, she asked, "So, What are you doing to help save the planet? Actually, not a hell of a lot. Don't you have some kind of vision of what society should be like? Well, I think I do. Are you familiar with Ursula Le Guin? She was not. You should really read her books. Always Coming Home explores a post-apocalyptic society based on a combination of Native American nature spirituality and appropriate use of high technology. An earlier book, The Dispossessed, is about a group of idealistic anarchists exiled to Mars who have set up a communitarian alternative to a corrupt Earth. I didn't notice that the woman Leslie and I had encountered back in Windsor Chairmakers had come in and was listening to my monologue. This was not as much of a coincidence as you might think, as we were both touring the best artisan shops along the coastal road. What was surprising was how her appearance had changed. The muscles in her face had relaxed into a warm smile, and she was now quite gregarious. Ursula Le Guin is my favorite author. Addressing the young woman, she added, "You should listen to him, and be sure to read The Left Hand of Darkness." I felt I was seeing her more authentic self, and her costume was a persona that she had put on to succeed in her career. It did not keep her from the ideals that she had held all her life. We talked about the books we loved. Too soon, it was time to leave. I had relearned what I always forget. I shouldn't be too quick to judge a book by its cover.